Okay, today we'll be starting with the second module, the next module. We have done with the data security now. We have seen some of the algorithms used in the symmetrical encryption. Okay, now today we'll be talking about the next topic, the next module, that is number theory and asymmetric key cryptography. So please write down the heading as number theory and asymmetric key cryptography. So we need to focus on this particular term, that is asymmetric key. So already I have told you, we have the encryption methods that can be a symmetrical one or asymmetrical one. In the symmetrical one, we have seen only one key is used at the encryption side as well as at the decryption side. It is also called as a single key encryption method. Okay, and in asymmetrical, we are using two different keys. One is at the private side, or that is called as a private key, and the other one is called as a public key. If I'm using the private key at the encryption side, I have to use the public key at the decryption side. Okay, and if I'm using the public key at the encryption side, I should use the private key at the decryption side. Okay, so two keys of the same pair, two different keys of the same pair is also called as a asymmetrical encryption method. Okay, as well as it is also called as a two key method, because I'm using the two different keys, public as well as private. Okay, so in the asymmetrical key and cryptography, we also call this as a public key. It is also called as a public key crypto system. Okay, public key crypto system. Okay, so crypto system is what? It is a concept in which we are doing the encryption as well as decryption by using two different keys. Encryption as well as decryption by using two different keys. Okay, so public key. So usually we are doing the encryption at the encryption side by using the public key, that is given by small e, and we are decrypting by using the private key, that is called as a small d. So small e stands for the public key, which is used at the encryption side, and small d is called as a private key, which is used at the decryption side. So, okay, so we are going to see each and everything in this particular concept of number theory and asymmetric key cryptography. Now usually I can start with the number theory. In the number theory, we need to understand what are the numbers we have, which we'll be using in this particular algorithm. Okay, so what I'm thinking, instead of starting with the number theory, directly I will start with the method or the algorithm which is used in the asymmetrical key cryptography, that is RSA. While explaining you that RSA algorithm, I will be explaining you the concept of number theory. I will be explaining you what are the numbers we have, prime numbers, then Euler's quotient function. So we are in the same algorithm, we are going to understand the number theory also. So instead of taking the number theory as a separate part, I will include that number theory while explaining you the RSA algorithm. Okay, while explaining you the RSA algorithm. So you can write down the heading as RSA algorithm. Write down the heading as RSA algorithm. So this is RSA algorithm is what? It is a asymmetrical encryption method. Okay, so we'll be starting with the RSA algorithm. Now please remember, we have studied advanced encryption standard. We have studied data encryption standard, that is DES as well as AES. So they come under the symmetrical encryption algorithm, or the method which is used in the symmetrical algorithm, encryption algorithm. So similarly, for the asymmetrical, we have RSA algorithm, which is most famous as far as asymmetrical encryption standard is concerned, or asymmetrical key cryptography is concerned. Okay, so RSA. So first thing, we should know the full form of RSA. So as the person who has founded this algorithm, okay, by their name, it comes to be RSA. So RSA stands for Rivest, Shamir, and Edmund. algorithm. Okay, Rivest Shamir Edman algorithm. Okay, so taking their first letter RSA. So it was founded by the three persons. So because of their first letter, it comes to the RSA algorithm. Okay. Now in this RSA algorithm, there are some steps to be followed. There are some steps to be followed. Okay. Now our ultimate goal is what? Our ultimate goal is to have the keys. We need to find the key. Which keys? Key that is called as E. I already have told you what is the meaning of this small e. This is a public key. Then we have to find small d. Small d is the key which is as a private key. So encryption in the asymmetrical encryption algorithm, under the RSA algorithm, we need to find these two keys. Now there is a specific procedure for that. How do you find the key, that is E and D? And the ultimate goal is to convert the plain text into the ciphertext as far as encryption side is concerned, and converting the ciphertext into the plain text. Converting the ciphertext into the plain text at the receiver side. Okay, so the important thing is that find out E, find out D, find out E and D. That means they are the private public key and the private key. Once you get the two keys, then convert the plain text into the ciphertext at the transmitter side, and at the receiver side convert that ciphertext into the plain text, and see that your plain text should be equal to, or it should match with the plain text which is received or which is recovered at the receiver side. Okay, so this plain text and this plain text should be same. If they are not same, that means you are compromising with the security. That means your data is lost. Okay, so this RSA algorithm will provide what? It will provide confidentiality. Everything we have studied, it will provide confidentiality, it will provide integrity, as well as it will provide authentication. So you have these three important parameters in this RSA algorithm. Okay, so we need to see what is this particular RSA algorithm. Okay, it is the asymmetric encryption algorithm, which will provide confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. Okay, and it was founded by these three persons, Rivest, Shamir, and Edman. Okay, now with this understanding, we are going to see the procedure or the algorithm, how to get this E, how to get this D, how do you get the ciphertext, and how do you recover the plain text. Okay, so we'll start with the algorithm. So we'll go step by step. Shall I rub this part? So whatever I'm writing on the board, please write down along with me, and we'll go step by step. Once we go step by step, we'll be solving two problems, so that this algorithm is will be very much clear. Okay, so the algorithm will be very much clear. So we'll start with the steps. Okay, so please write down the steps for RSA. The steps for RSA. Number one. Write down. Consider two prime numbers. Which is given by P and Q. Okay. Consider two prime numbers. So you know the prime numbers. What are the prime numbers? The numbers which are divisible by 1 as well as divisible by itself. Okay. So you have prime numbers 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Okay. So these are the different prime numbers we have. Okay. So we have to consider two prime numbers. Here, after this, after you write down this, please write down note in the same point. Write down the note in the same point. Two prime numbers, write down two prime numbers should be preferably large. Preferably large. Two prime numbers should be preferably large. Two prime numbers should be preferably large. Okay, they should be preferably large. For example, if I'm taking P as 3 and Q as 5, in the next example, if I take P is equals to 7 and Q is equals to 11. Now, what will happen if I take P is equals to 3 and Q is equals to 5? And what will happen when I take P is equals to 7 and P is equals to 11? And it is what you have written in the note, that the prime number should be preferably large numbers. So can you say this 7 and 11 is larger than 3 and 5? Yes. So why I should go with P is equals to 7 and Q is equals to 11 as compared with P is equals to 3 and Q is equals to 5? The only reason is that if you want to give more security to the data, if I want the data should not be vulnerable by the attack, or if I want that the data should be more secured, then you have to provide with the large prime number. We have to provide with the large prime numbers. It is obvious. अगर किसी VIP को आपको security देना है, you have to see that the number of secured that bodyguard should be more. If you provide more bodyguards, the person will be more secured. Okay, the same thing. If your prime numbers are greater, the data will be more secure. The data will be more secure. So we'll see with these examples how this data is getting more secured when you choose the larger prime number. When you choose the larger prime number. When you choose the larger prime number. Okay. So with this first point we have covered, that is topic number 1. The step number 1, that is P and Q should be larger prime numbers. Okay. Then comes to the second. We'll see with this with an example all the steps. The second one is calculate n, small n. Calculate small n is equals to P into Q. Calculate small n is equals to P into Q. P into Q. Also, in the same point, also phi of n. See how I have written phi. Phi of n is equals to, also phi of n is equals to P minus 1 into Q minus 1. Phi of n is equals to P minus 1 into Q minus 1, where phi of n is called as, Euler's torsion function. It is called as Euler's torsion function. So it is EULER of apostrophe S, Euler's torsion function. Euler's torsion function. Here phi of n is called as Euler's torsion function. Okay. So we'll see this, what is Euler's torsion function and how do you get phi of n? Okay. So this thing I will take afterwards when we see the example. Okay. Euler's torsion function. Otherwise, we'll do one thing. Let me explain you this Euler's torsion function here also, here only. Okay. So the next step is we need to calculate the value of small n, which is nothing but P into Q. So we will get the value of n. Once you get the value of n, I want the torsion function of n, which is given by phi of n. So phi of n is nothing but phi of that is called as torsion function, Euler's torsion function. And if P and Q are prime numbers, obviously they are the prime numbers, then directly we can write down the torsion function of n, which is equals to P minus 1 into Q minus 1. Direct formula. It is direct formula. Okay. But otherwise, we'll see what is the torsion function. In the same point, you can just write down the torsion function. And I will just try to explain you the torsion function. Directly, I will take an example. And I want everyone to pay attention. This is important to understand the torsion function. For example, if I want to find the torsion function of suppose 10, if I want to find the torsion function of 10, so how do you get the torsion function of 10? Suppose, okay, now the number is 10. So write down all the numbers from starting from 1. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So I want to find the totient function of 10. I do not know. Okay. और मैंने जो पहले लिखे दिया था p minus 1 and q minus 1. This particular p minus 1 and q minus 1 is possible when p as well as q are prime numbers. Directly you can write down the formula. But I am explaining you if to find the quotient function of a number directly. How do you get? So first write down the numbers starting from 1 to 10. Okay. Then you find the multiples or the multiples of 10 or the factors of 10. Okay. So the factors of 10 is 2 and 5. Factor of 10 is 2 and 5. 2 5s are 10. Okay. So this is a factor. Now you take the multiples of 2.
10 and 1 also.
Yes, 10 and 1. But do not take the same number. Do not take the same number. Other than 1 and the same number, you take the other factors. You take the other factors. Okay. So it becomes 2 and 5. 2 and 5. Then go with the table of 2 now. So 2 ones are 2. So cross this 2. 2 twos are 4. Cross this 4. 2 threes are 6. Cross this 6. 2 fours are 8. 2 5s are 10. So once we have done with 2, go with 5 now. 5 ones are 5. Cross this 5. Okay. And already 5 2s are 10 is already crossed. Okay. Now see the numbers which are not crossed. See the numbers which are not crossed. It is 1. It is 3. It is 7. And it is 9. Okay. So how many numbers which are not crossed? 4 numbers. So the 4 numbers are the numbers which are not crossed. So the answer is 4. The answer is 4. The answer is 4. The answer is 4. Okay. Now for example, take the other example. If I'm taking 5 quotient of 5, find the Euler quotient function of 5. Okay. Directly also we can write down if this number is prime number, जिसका हमको टोशन फंक्शन निकालना है, अगर वो प्राइम नंबर है, so directly you can write down 5 minus 1 is equals to 4. 5 minus 1 is equals to 4. Otherwise अगर आपको देखना है तो directly 1 2 3 4 5 factors of 5 is only 5. Okay, so 5 ones are 5. So how many remaining? 1 2 3 4. So 4 numbers are remaining. So directly the 4 is there. So this direct formula, that is nothing but if I write down phi of, for example, if I'm writing phi of z is equals to z minus 1 if z is prime number. So directly I can write down this. Phi of z is equals to z minus 1 if z is prime number. If the number is not prime number, okay, then you have to just write down the numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, usually these numbers will be less, so nothing to worry. Phi of 10, that is 1 to 10, write down. Then take the factors of 10. Do not take 1 and the number itself. It becomes 2 and 5 then. You cross the number, the multiples of 2. You cross the multiples of 5. Okay, the number, how many numbers which are not crossed, these total numbers will become the totient function of that particular number. Okay, so totient function of 10 is equals to 4 and totient number 5. Here I am taking prime number purposely to show you that directly we can write down z minus 1 if z is prime number. If z is prime number. If z is prime number. Is it clear? So this is a Euler's totient function. This is called as a Euler's totient function. Okay, and it is denoted by phi. It is denoted by phi. Okay. So with this understanding, we have completed the second step. Go with the third step now. If you have any question, any doubt, please ask. So while solving the problems, we'll encounter such type of quotient functions. In that case, we'll be able to understand. Okay. Now the third step. Third step is important. Third and fourth. So the third one. Write down all of you. Assume small e. Assume small e. Assume small e This small e, just write on in bracket. What is this small e? Already I have explained to you. This is a public key which is used at encryption side. So write down public key which is used at encryption side. Which is used at encryption side. Public key which is used at encryption side. Such that there are two conditions. Now I am assuming the value of e, and to assume the value of e, I have to consider two points. Okay, such that write down the small one. Such that there are two conditions to assume the value of e. First one is your e should lie in between 1 and phi of n. Your e should lie in between 1 and phi of n. And the second condition is GCD of e comma phi of n should be 1. GCD stands for greatest common divisor. So I want the greatest common divisor of e and phi of n should give me 1. अभी किस लोगों को पता होगा how do you find the GCD, लेकिन हम जब problems लेंगे तो I will explain you how do you get the GCD of two numbers. And the thing is that your GCD of two numbers should be 1. It should not be 0, it should not be 2, it should not be 3, it should be 1. So you have to assume the value of e such that e should lie between 1 and phi of n, as well as the GCD of e and phi of n should give you 1. Okay. Now when I'm talking about GCD e of phi of n, okay, this is also means that it should be a co-prime of phi of n. It also means that ये भी लिख दो, वो ये this will be right, this will be fine. ये आपने second जो point लिखा ना, यहाँ पे bracket में लिखो, that is e should be co-prime of phi of n. That is e should be co-prime of phi of n. E should be co-prime of phi of n or co-prime to phi of n. Yes, किसी को doubt है? Someone was there? किसी को doubt है? Okay, so this is your point number 3. ये दो important parameters है, or the condition is that while considering the value of e, while assuming the value of e. Okay, so this is the third step. Now write down fourth one. Now we have assumed the value of e. Now we have to assume the value of d. So assume small d. Write down what is this small d. This is a private key. Which is used at decryption side. So this is compulsorily that your private key should be used at the receiver side, that is the decryption side, and your public key should be used at the encryption side or the transmitter side. Okay. Such that here also there is a condition, such that there is, now here there is only one condition, d small d into e mod of phi of n equals to 1. Such that here only one condition, that is d into e mod of phi of n is equals to 1. We have already studied what is mod, how to get the mod. Okay, I have told you if a less than b, what is the mod value, and if a is greater than b, what is the mod value. Okay, so we have to assume the value of d in such a manner that the multiplication with e mod of phi of n should give me 1, should give me 1, should give me 1. Okay, so this is the fourth one. Please stop me if you don't understand any point. You can unmute and you can ask me the question. Okay, step number 5. Step number 5. Step number 5. Step number 5. No calculations, just to understand. We have got now public key and private key. But how do you write down the public key and the private key? So the fifth point is to write down the representation of public key and the private key. So fifth is public key. Public key is written as, or it is given as, in curly bracket, e comma n, e comma n, and private key is given as d comma n. It is given as d comma n. It is given as d comma n. So this is just a representation. How do you write down the public key and the private key once you get the value of e and d? Once you get the value of e and d. So this is how you write down the fifth point. Now sixth point. Sixth point is, now once we get e, once we get d, now we have to understand the ciphertext. We have to get the ciphertext. So write down, we get ciphertext, we get ciphertext such that we get ciphertext such that, see here, ciphertext, how do you get the ciphertext? Such that C, capital C, is equals to capital M to the power of E mod of n, mod of n. We get ciphertext such that C is equals to M, capital M to the power of E mod of n. So we know n, we know E. What is M? What is M? Where, write down, where capital M, where capital M is the plain text, is the plain text, is the plain text, and must be less than small n, and must be less than small m. That is capital M should be less than small n. Capital M should be less than small n. So we have to assume the value of M such that the value of M should be less than n. Okay, and what is this capital M? It is the plain text, what we have assumed, and the value of M is less than small n. Keeping this value here, we'll get some answer, and that is ciphertext. That is ciphertext. That is ciphertext. Okay, clear up this. And the last step now, and the last step, ये तो हो गया साइफर टेक्स्ट जो हमको मिलेगा एनक्रिप्शन साइड में. नाउ व्हाट अबाउट द प्लेन टेक्स्ट which will be recovered at the receiver or at the decryption side? That is the point number 7. That is the point number 7. We get plain text. We get plain text. We get plain text such that we get plain text such that here capital M is equals to capital C to the power of D mod of n, mod of n. And you know each and everything. You know C, you know D, you know n. When you know, because C, which the C is the ciphertext which we have received at the receiver. So once you receive this, we'll be able to recover the plain text M. So whatever the plain text M we have used, which we should be less than n. That M and this recovered M should match. That M, what we have assumed while calculating the ciphertext, and we have said that that should be less than N. That should match with this M, which is a recovered one. After calculating C to the power of D mod of N. Okay. So this is total 7 steps are there. टोटल 7 स्टेप्स आते हैं. ओके, ये होने के बाद एक लास्ट में एक छोटा सा नोट लिखो. Write on the note only one line. Step number 1 to 5 are called. Step number 1 to 5 are called. Step number 1 to 5 are called key generation process. Are called as key generation process. Are called as key generation process. Whereas process 6 and 7 is used for encryption and decryption. Whereas process 6 and 7 is used for encryption and decryption to generate ciphertext and to recover plain text. To generate ciphertext and to recover plain text. And to generate plain text. So do you anyone of have any doubt in this particular concept now? RSA. I have explained you RSA. I have told you what is RSA, and I have explained you the steps. Okay, I have explained you the steps. Now these steps I will be giving you in writing now. I mean to say that we will write down the steps in words. Okay, these words are only sentences, small sentences, but these steps will be written after you solve this problem. One problem. We'll take one problem now. We'll take one problem. Write down all of you. We'll take one problem, or you can say the example. Okay. In this we will take two problems or two examples to see that how this numbers, if I take lesser prime number, what will happen? If I take larger prime numbers, what will happen? Okay. So first take P value as 3 and Q value as 5. So can I say these are the two least prime numbers I have taken? Okay. Now apply all the steps one by one. Okay. I have taken P is equals to 3, Q is equals to 5. We'll go one by one. Small n is given as P into Q, which is 3 into 5 is equals to 15. Is equals to 15. Okay. Therefore, Euler's torsion function of n, which is nothing but Euler's torsion function of 15, equals to, so it is P minus 1 into Q minus 1. So it is 2 into 4 equals to 8. It equals to 8. Equals to 8. Whether 15 is a prime number? Any one of you?
No.
No.
No, 15 is not a prime number. Again, write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Till 15. Then it is, what are the factors? 5, 3, go on deleting the numbers. Finally, see the numbers, how many numbers which are not deleted. You will come to know the total numbers which are not crossed are 8. But here directly we can use the formula as per the RSA algorithm. Phi of n, when P and Q are the prime numbers, directly I can write down P minus 1 into Q minus 1. So it is 2 into 4, it is 8. 2 into 4, it is 8. Okay. So we have got phi of n, that is Euler torsion function, that is 8. Okay. Proceed to the next one now. I will drop this part. Now to get the public key, we have to assume the value of E. Now please pay attention, this is important, to get the value of E and to get the value of D. Okay. Most of the students, they create problems here only. Okay. So please try to understand how to get the value of E and how to get the value of D. Okay. So public key, E stands, that is a key, that is a public key. Okay, and this is a random selection. This is a random selection. The two conditions which we have is it should be in between 1 and phi of n. Am I right? It is 1 and phi of n. And what is phi of n? We have got n. So your E value should be in between 1 and 7, 1 and 8. Your E value should be in between 1 and 8. As well as the GCD or GCD of E and phi of n should be 1. GCD of E comma phi of n should be 1. Should be 1. Okay. Now we can take any values. I can take any value. Okay. So first thing, if I take value of, suppose, if I take the value of 2, okay, I am taking the value of 2, suppose. So what will happen? The first condition is satisfied. The first condition is satisfied. The first condition is satisfied. What about the second condition? That means GCD of 2 comma phi of n is how much? 8. I should get the value of 1. I should get the value of 1. Okay. But GCD of 2 comma 8, that is nothing but 2 divided by 8. So it comes to be 2 fourths are 8, and the remainder is 0. So I cannot take the value of E as 2. I cannot take the value of E as 2 because I'm getting the remainder as 0. I cannot take the value of E as 2. Now take the value of E as 3. Now 3 lies between 1 and 8. What about the GCD of 3 comma 8? What is the GCD of 3 comma 8? We will see what is the GCD of 3 comma 8. 3 comma 8 means 8. Sorry, 3 divided by 8. So it is 3, 2 are 6. It is 2. Again, you take the value of, sorry, 6, 7, yes, 2. Then you take this 3. Okay. Then 2 1s are 2. Remainder is 1. And again, you can take 1 and you can take 2 inside, and it becomes 1, 2 are 2, and remainder is 0. So here you can see here 1. Can you see here 1? So that is a GCD. So I'm getting the value as GCD 1, and the remainder I'm getting 0, but with this particular number 1. With this particular number as 1. Okay. So I can say 3 comma 8. The GCD of 3 comma 8 is 1. The GCD of 3 comma 8 is 1. The GCD of 3 comma 8 is 1. For example, now if I take E is equals to 5. Now this is for E is equals to 3. Now suppose I take for E is equals to 5 now. E lies between 1 and 8. But what is the GCD of 5 comma 8? It should be 1. Okay. Now see the GCD. I am taking 5 divided here by 8. So it comes to be 5 1s are 5. It comes to be 3. Again you take 5. Okay. It comes to be 3 1s are 3. So it comes to be my 5 minus is 2. Okay. Then you take 3 inside. Then it is 2 1s are 2. It comes to be 1. So 1 divided by 2. So 2 1 2s are 2, and it comes to be 0. Can you see here 1? That means I can take 5 also. I can take 5 also. That is, I can take the value of E as 3. If you see, I can take the value of 5. If you see here, even I can take the value of 7 also. If you want to try, you can see that 7 also. I will get the GCD of 7 comma 8 as 1. So I can take either 3 or 5 or 7. I can take E is equals to 3 or 5 or 7, as these numbers fall in between 1 and 8, as well as if I see the GCD of 3 comma 8, it comes to be 1. If I see the GCD of 5 comma 8, it comes to be 1. If I take the GCD of 7 comma 8, it also comes to be 1. Okay. So you have to try with 7 also. You will see the last you will be getting 1, and the remainder comes to be 0. Okay. Then only it is called as GCD. जिन लोगों ने GCD नहीं किया होगा, तो just go back to your या फिर देख लेना how to get the GCD. How do you get the GCD? Okay. So I can take out of 3, 5, 7, I can take any number. I will take E is equals to 3. I will take E is equals to 3. I will take E is equals to 3. Okay. Now I have got the value of E is equals to 3. I have got the value of E is equals to 3. In the same thing, you can just write down E is equals to 3. E is equals to 3. E is equals to 3. Now we'll proceed further to get the value of small d. To get the value of small d. To get the value of small d, there is no other conditions. The only condition for to get the value of small d is that your d into E mod of n should be 1. Should be 1. That is the only condition we have. D into E mod of n is equals to 1. So what value of d I should take? Okay. So that means d into, it is 3 mod of, what is the value of n? So here the value of n is 15, should be equal to 1. Now I can take what values now? What values I can take? If I take d value of 2, so 2 into 3, 6. 6 mod 15. 6 mod 15. Tell me the answer. If I take d is equal to 2, yes, it is 6. Okay. If I take the value of d is equals to 3, 3 3 is 9. 9 mod 15.
9.
एक मिनट, अब ये क्या है? दिस इज मेरे ख्याल से गलत हुआ. दिस
सर
इज
5n लिखवाया था.
हाँ 5f. यस ये गलत हो गया था. दिस इज mod phi of n should be 1. So mod phi of n, that is d into 3 mod of phi of n is 8, should be 1. Now tell me, if I take d is equals to 2, so 2 into 3, 6. 6 mod 8, it is 6. If I take d is equals to 3, 3 into 3, 9. 9 mod of 8. So 9 mod of 8. Tell me the answer.
1.
Yes, it is 1. So can I take value of d? Therefore, value of d is equals to 3. Therefore, the value of d is equals to 3. Therefore, the value of d is equals to 3. Okay. Please make the correction here. Here it is not n. Here it is phi of n. The torsion function, Euler's torsion function of n. So we have got the value of d is equals to 3. Now the last one is not the last one, but the representation. So can I write down all of you? Public key is given as e comma n, which is equals to, that is 3 comma 15, and private key is given as d comma n, which is equals to 3 comma 5. See, this is a drawback. If I am taking the smaller prime numbers, can you see d और e दोनों भी सेम आ रहे हैं. मेरा पब्लिक की और प्राइवेट की भी सेम ही आ रहा है. Even though I am studying under the asymmetrical encryption algorithm, that is RSA, but can you see the keys are coming to be the same, 3 comma 15 and 3 comma 15. So these are the some drawbacks when you take the smaller prime numbers. Okay, so these are the some drawbacks, because it is more vulnerable to the security. Okay, so we'll see the further part. Now at the encryption side, now what will happen at the encryption side? Now we are interested encryption side में, we want the ciphertext. Okay, we want the ciphertext. So consider, जैसे मैंने पहले बताया था, consider your capital M should be less than small m. Okay, you consider the value of m such that it should be small m. I will consider m is equals to, suppose, 4. If I consider m is equals to 4, you can consider 5. You can consider 6. Okay, you can consider any number which should be less than 15, because n is your 15. Okay, here I will consider 4. Why I am considering the lesser number? Easy for calculation. Okay, so how do you get now c? C is equals to m to the power of e mod of n equals to 4 to the power of e is your 3 mod of 15 is equals to 64 mod of 15. Tell me the answer. Therefore, C is equals to, yes, C is equals to 4. C is equals to 4. You can keep this in the box. C is equals to 4. C is equals to 4. C is equals to 4. I'm going to rub this. At decryption side, at decryption process, write down, at decryption process, capital M, the recovered plain text, equals to capital C to the power of D mod of N. Capital C is what? It is 4. It is 4. So 4 to the power of D, D value is also 3. Mod of N. So can I say it is the same? Mod of 15. And it comes to be the same answer, that is 4. That is 4. So previously I have assumed the plain text value as 4. With that I have got the ciphertext as 4. Now in the recovering of the plain text, I have taken C value as 4 and D 3, N as 15. Here also I am getting M is equals to 4. So whatever I have assumed in the plain text, same thing I am getting here at the receiver side, recovered text. Okay. Can you do for P is equals to? Okay, you can take that. You can take this as a homework. P is equals to 11 and Q is equals to 19. These are the two prime numbers I have taken, which is greater than 3 and 5. You do this as a homework and tell me the answer next time. But write down the steps now. Steps for RSA algorithm. फटाफट लिखो. Steps for RSA algorithm. You do two problems as a homework. You take P is equals to 11 and Q is equals to 19 as the first instance, and the second instance you take P is equals to 3 and Q is equals to 11. P is equals to 3 and Q is equals to 11. So these two problems as a homework you take. Write down the steps for RSA फटाफट. Steps for RSA algorithm. RSA algorithm is the don't write step 1, 2, 3, 4. Before writing down step 1, 2, 3, 4, write down. RSA algorithm is the example for public key encryption algorithm. RSA algorithm is the example for public key encryption algorithm. Algorithm is the example for public key encryption algorithm. Full stop. Here we are supposed to find two keys. Here we are supposed to find two keys. Supposed to find two keys. Number 1, public key, small e, which is used at encryption. Number 2, private key, small d, which is used at decryption. फटाफट लिखो. Number 1, public key, small e, which is used at encryption, and number 2, private key, small d, which is used at decryption. अभी लिखो. Step number 1. Step number 1. Select two large prime numbers P and Q. Select two large prime numbers P and Q. Step number 2. Calculate N is equals to P into Q. Calculate N is equals to P into Q. Also, phi of N is equals to P minus 1 into Q minus 1. उसके बाद लिखो step number 3. Assume E and D. Assume small e and small d. Assume small e and small d. Step number 4. Encrypt the plain text using public key E. Encrypt the plain text using public key E. Encrypt the plain text using public key E. And step number 5, decrypt the ciphertext using private key small d. Decrypt the ciphertext using private key small d. Decrypt the ciphertext using private key small d. Okay, so these are the 5 in general steps I have given. Okay, so whatever the steps I have given the previously, that was in detail. This is in the crux. Okay, this is in the crux, so that you will be able to understand what steps I have to do one by one. What I have to do one by one. Yes, any more questions you have? I have given you 2 homeworks to find for p is equals to 11, q is equals to 19, and for p is equals to 3 and q is equals to 11. Okay, we have this particular example in your practicals. Okay, so we'll be doing this in the practical also. We'll be doing this in your practicals also. Okay. No questions from your side? Yes, no questions from your side. I assume that आपको सब समझ में आया या फिर किसी को कुछ समझ में नहीं आया? If there is no question. आयुषी,
यस सर।
समझ में आया?
हाँ
पक्का?
हाँ।
ठीक है. So no questions from your side? ठीक है. Okay. Priyanka, you can take the attendance.